The RNC convention underway right now, day one after that kickoff at Summerfest grounds yesterday.
Yeah, and we know they are introducing J.D. Vance to the entire arena there at Fiserv Forum, and standing by inside the arena also are our lead anchors Patrick Paolantonio and Deanna Gutierrez inside Fiserv Forum. Hey guys.
How you doing, Derek? Kristen, we're unsure right now if Vance will actually take the stage. He just walked into the room moments ago. He was introduced. This coming just maybe a couple hours after we learned that he is the pick to be the running mate of former President Donald Trump. Right now you're seeing live pictures. He's there on the floor. I believe he's standing with the Ohio delegation. Again, he's a U.S. Senator from Ohio.
And just to give you perspective of kind of what happened when they were announcing that someone was going to be taking this stage, as soon as J.D. Vance was announced to come out, he was right alongside his wife. We started hearing those USA chants, and right now I don't know if you can hear the JD chants that are happening here right behind us. And to give you a little bit of perspective of how electric this room is here, there were moments where Patrick and I couldn't even talk to each other because it's so hard to hear. But to give you background on JD Vance, let's go ahead and talk about how he met former President Donald Trump. They met in 2021. In April of 2022, Trump endorsed Vance in the Ohio Senate race. A 39-year-old now as a running mate for former President Donald Trump.
He now joins the ticket. Let's listen in for a moment and hear what they have to say.
I know firsthand that my dear friend JD is a selfless and brilliant fighter. He is a patriot who loves America. He loves Ohio. He loves his family. He's a great father, he's a great man, and that's what we need in this nation today. To J.D. Vance, America First is not just a slogan, it's his North Star. He has followed it every moment of his life and career. He knows what it's like to live in poverty, forgotten by Washington politicians. He is dedicated to ensure that no American is ever forgotten again. Madam Chair, it is a great honor to move that J.D. Vance be nominated by acclamation by this Republican National Convention as its candidate for the office of Vice President of the United States of America.
And we're watching these developments live right now behind us on the convention floor. The Ohio delegation is set up just behind the Wisconsin delegation down there.
Yeah, and that is right front and center of the stage. I want to toss it out to our colleague Matt Smith, political director Matt Smith, who is joining us from the floor. Matt, how is it where you are?
We are right in the middle of everyone as this nomination is happening. As we speak, take a listen. J.D. Vance officially nominated vice president right behind my shoulder. You see the Wisconsin delegation. Ohio is behind me. If there's any stretch of imagination, if you've seen it, behind all the delegates here as this official process is underway. Right now, they are announcing J.D. Vance is the official vice presidential nomination. He's right behind me alongside the Ohio delegation as we've been watching these delegates very excited, just learning a short time ago that he will be the nominee. We were with the Wisconsin delegation as they learned about this. Take a listen.
Usha Vance, thank you, and God bless America.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back Speaker Johnson.
Woo! All right. What a great night. Pursuant to Rule 40D of the rules of the Republican Party, I formally declare President Donald J. Trump and J.D. Vance as the Republican nominees for President and Vice President of the United States.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back RNC Chairman Michael Whatley.
What a great afternoon for the Republican Party, and what a great afternoon for America. It is now time to take the official convention photograph. If all of the delegates would please stand and turn to the center camera directly opposite the stage, we will take the official photograph. Camera's right there, right above it. See the guy with the big top.
And we are here experiencing this with all of you at home. The Republican National Convention Day 1 kickoff inside Fiserv Forum. Fiserv Forum, as we know it as a Milwaukee Bucks home, unrecognizable as it becomes a temporary home for the GOP. Right now, we are just kind of watching them take the delegate photograph. Everybody's turning to one side, getting a capture of that. But we hear it here. The running mates for former President Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, with overwhelming support.
This is now a Trump-Vance campaign, as here we are at the first day of the RNC. The former president was nominated just a short time ago, earlier this afternoon, and then just moments ago, live right here. His running mate, who we learned about just a short time ago, J.D. Vance, the senator from Ohio, is his running mate.